This week has been crazy with CPI numbers and retail sales numbers, and it's not over. Tomorrow we have PPI numbers, which continues the story of going over all this inflation talk and the Federal Reserve and all this and that. So in today's video, I'm going to be going over a few trading setups that I personally have, one setup that I'm already in, and a couple that I am looking to join should they present themselves. Let's dive in. Welcome back to the channel, guys. Remember, if you're new, make sure to hit the thumbs up button and subscribe. We go over trading setups and ideas on the channel all the time. And one that is new is gold. Check this out, guys. We have not traded gold in a while, or at least I have not. I was bullish on it for a little while, and then it sort of fell apart to the downside here and have been bearish since. But now things seem to be setting up again for some opportunities. And I want to go over this one in detail. So we'll start out with the technical analysis first. There is a pretty clear downward trend going on in the gold chart, in my opinion here. You've got lower highs coming into this market with this rejection here at 1890, and then now recently the big spike with all the volatility on CPI and a continued push lower throughout the week. Now, I am looking for predominantly a sell setup on gold, and I want to go over this one from a technical analysis perspective. So again, lower highs coming into this market and a downward trend overall, but I want to note one specific area on this chart. If you notice, we have this area of support, which was holding very well for bulls and stubbornly resisted any sell pressure to get through the lows. Until, of course, this recent price action where we dumped underneath the lows on that recent CPI number that we got on yesterday's action. So with the latest, when we look at this volatility, we've spiked underneath, and so I can't really buy or sell down here. I don't really want to buy this thing because, again, it's kind of in a downward trend, or actually definitely in a downward trend based on what we're looking at here. But not only that, but also I can't really sell it either because it's already sort of made that big move. However, when we drop down to like a 2-hour chart, which is not a usual chart that I look at, but I think it makes it very easy to see the point that I'm trying to get at with this, a retest of resistance at 1850 has several implications for a possible short setup in my view. There's a couple reasons. One, we have that big round number play with 1850 being a number that many traders are going to punch into their systems when looking to trade, or it's that very easy to view 1850 big round number, right? So we've broken the 1850. We're currently trading at the time of filming this at 1836. So if price rallies back on gold up into that 1850, my opinion would be that sellers might want to hold that 1850 mark. So a retest in that zone looks predominantly bearish in my view, so we'll watch out for that level. Another reason that this level is key is that it lines up beautifully with our concept of this broken support zone. We have several instances where buyers were able to hold this until it broke here. So a retest of that zone also looks bearish. Two things lining up, 1850 and of course the sell zone that we marked here in red. On top of that, we have one more thing I want to show you. In this one, we might even need to zoom in a little bit closer, and you can draw from the fib swing high to the swing low. You guys know I love my fibs. That 50% retracement, which is a key zone on the fib levels, right here lines up beautifully right around that 1850 mark that we keep talking about. So from the technicals, gold looks bearish around 1850 in my opinion, looking for a continuation sell should price rally up there. But it doesn't end there, because with each trading setup I use, I don't look strictly at technicals. Yes, technicals help for entries and exits, but I have to see a little bit more than just a pretty chart to actually put my money on the line. Let me show you what I'm talking about. If we take a look at the Edge Finder and I switch over, we'll go not to EuroCAD, but to gold, check this out. For the first time in a while, we've got a sell bias showing up on the gold chart. And again, the technicals look really good, but so does the Edge Finder's bias here. So when looking at gold here on the Edge Finder, there's a couple of things that stick out to me. What you'll see is that we get overall a -3 score, which for the first time in a while puts us at a sell bias. On top of this, if we take a look at the economic numbers behind this, it very much points towards a bearish price projection for gold. Under GDP growth, we have a bullish forecast, but for the remainder, inflation, unemployment, interest rates, and money supply, we have a bearish reading on the gold chart, which is very interesting when we pair that up with our technical bias to the downside any retracement back up into this 50% has both a technical and fundamental bias to the downside for me. So if I take this trade, here's generally what I think it would look like. Sell bias at the 50% retracement. Stops would probably go above this shelf here around 1860. So we're risking a little bit above there for a potential move back down to the previous low, but really if the trend is going to continue even beyond there. If you guys are familiar with my style, then you know I like to trail stops, which means let's say I take this trade and the market starts rallying to the downside, right? And we put in a lower high, right? What I'm going to do is instead of just taking profits just because we hit the previous low, what I'll do instead is I'll look to take this initial stop loss and trail it behind a series of higher lows. This is how I personally like to trade. I like to use trailing stops because it allows me to maximize the potential that I could get out of a trend if the trend just continues to go and go and go. So primarily I'm looking for a pullback to that 1850 mark going into the next couple days. The next chart I want to go over with you guys is the dollar against the Japanese yen. And this is one that I've had my eye on for a while and actually have been recently trading. You can see that I entered into a trade and closed out of a trade during the CPI release this earlier this week. So what I'm looking for going forward on dollar yen is I noticed that we are hitting a key level of resistance. This zone in red marks a key high point on the chart. And so as we come into that area, I'm expecting we could probably see some sort of give back, some sort of pullback on the dollar yen. And so that sets me up for a scenario to look to potentially join this move on a pullback. Again, I mentioned predominantly that I'm bullish on the dollar this week, which is why I'm looking to short gold, right? Because those, of course, go against each other in many cases, where when you see a strengthening dollar, it puts pressure on the commodity market, puts pressure on the dollar, on the gold market, because again, it makes foreign investors, it makes it more costly to purchase gold. There's some correlation there. On top of that, the dollar yen looks really good on a pullback. The yen is incredibly weak right now. And if we get that pullback to that 38.2 or 50% level, both of these zones look like buy opportunities in my view, which gives you an entry around 133.1 or 132.82. Both of these look good for continuation buys in my opinion. So if price comes down into these zones, what I'll probably be looking to do is look for basically a continuation back to the previous high or even beyond it. Going again with my concept of trailing stops, I'm looking for higher lows to trail price behind or trail a stop behind and continue to ride that as best I possibly can. So that is another trade that I'm very much interested, backed by, again, the edge finder. We've got a +4, and this one is really, really blue. You can see it's the opposite of gold, which is quite red. This one's showing a lot of bullish signals. And one that sticks out to me is, of course, the COT data, showing that institutional money, as of the latest reporting, is very heavily bought on the long side for the dollar and very short or selling the Japanese yen. So something to think about there. On top of that, when we look at retail sentiment, the crowd is really short on dollar yen, which makes me extra willing to be more on the bullish side of this, which is why we get a +1 in that category on the score chart breakdown. The trend is to the upside. You can see the projection there. Though seasonality goes against us with the months of February and January both being negative expectancy for this currency pair, that does go against our idea. So we have to take that with a grain of salt. You know, nothing is going, or very rarely are we going to see all of the different assets pointing the same direction or same metrics pointing the same direction at the same time. But for me, I kind of take it as a majority thing. If I see a lot of these metrics pointing bullish, I may look for buys. If a lot of these things are pointing bearish, I'm looking for sells. If you guys don't have the Edge Finder already, let me pause and just remind you guys, we do have a free version now available. The link to that will be down below in the description. And if you want to go ahead and purchase the Pro version, that is also available in the description. You can use the promo code down there for a discounted rate off of our software. So yeah, I like dollar yen on a pullback if that one comes into play. It's a bit run heavy right now, so I'm not gonna take sells in this area or anything like that. I'm just primarily looking for a pullback in order to possibly get long. Now, I promised I would also talk a little bit about a trade that I'm already in, so let me go ahead and do that. Full transparency, I am in a S&P 500 trade long. So far, it's not going too hot, but I am looking for basically this level here, where we currently are sitting. I'm looking for this to hold. If it breaks through the 61.8% by any significant margin, I will be stopped out of my trade. And let me show you, speaking of that, what my trade looks like. So I trade my S&P trades and gold trades on my Webull portfolio, which, because I'm in the US, I can't trade CFDs. This is a trade that I have on my Webull account. Webull is available only to US clients. If that's something you're interested in, that will also be linked down below in the description if you want to check out Webull. So yeah, I'm long SPY. You can see where my stop is on this one. Again, kind of similar, same chart basically. It's the same asset, the S&P 500. If price breaks through those lows, I will be stopped out, as you can see here. So that's kind of where I'm at with that trade, floating at this point a negative $150. So gonna wait for this one to make a decision as to whether or not it's gonna find buyers or find support in this area and rally, or if we are going to break through the lows, in which case, we'll be out of the trade for a loss. So that is where I'm currently at with my S&P 500 trade. All of these trading signals that I share are shared inside of our Discord channel. If you're not already in the Discord, the link for that will be also down below in the description. We have two things available. We have a free Discord available and we have a paid Discord available. Both of them will be found down below in the description. The free one is limited, while the premium will get you access to all the trades that are being taken by myself, Frank, and Ivan, our trading team here at A1 Trading. Guys, thanks for watching today's video. If this was helpful to you, make sure to subscribe. I like a couple different setups that I mentioned here, and we'll see if any of them set up on the dollar side, and we'll manage this trade going forward on the S&P 500. Thanks for watching. See you next time. It looks like you made it to the end of one of my videos. Thank you so much for supporting my content. It really means the world to me. And down below in the description, I put together some of my best resources for aspiring traders who are looking to improve. I've got some free downloads that could help you, some broker recommendations, and if you'd like to join our Discord or get access to some of our trading software, all of that will be linked down below in the description. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time.